Rivals.com here with Rivals 250 wide receiver Malcolm Johnson. I almost called you Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Johnson, big time track athlete. Also won Washington D.C. Track Athlete of the Year come this past winter. You got a long offer sheet. You've had schools coming in offering you lately too. Teams like USC and Texas A&M, and I think Florida State was a recent offer also. But you had a top 12. In late March. Where do things kind of stand in your recruitment right now?
So right now I'm kind of conflicted because I started with the top 12, but now it seems like I have more offers than what I initially planned on because of the offers flowing after my top 12.
Mm-hmm. So which teams do you feel like have really done a good job separating themselves from the pack at this point, just because of communication or just how comfortable you are with those coaches?
I feel like the coaches that talk to me the most would be South Carolina, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma. Yeah, I would probably say those
Okay,
schools.
cool. Well, let's talk about those guys for just a minute here. You mentioned South. Let's stay kind of in the South there. We'll start with like South Carolina. Why are the Gamecocks up there? Why do you feel like you're in touch with them more than some of the other schools?
I feel like they're always communicating to me, and we have a lot of conversations, and I feel like that means a lot to me and my family.
Mm-hmm. They came up here to the DMV and they got Marshawn Lloyd this past recruiting cycle. Does that make a difference to you? Do you talk with Marshawn at all?
Actually, I have never talked to him.
All right. Well, I'm sure he'll be reaching out to you soon. You're a new recruiting target, I guess. How about I think you mentioned Alabama too. What is it about Alabama that has you staying in touch with them?
I feel like that their message to me is that they develop players and they make them from elite to great, and I feel like that kind of shows with everything that they're doing. They have a real big emphasis on development of the player, and that's pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You also mentioned Auburn. They've been staying in touch with you a lot. What do you see out of that program lately?
I see that it's real genuine, and it's kind of it's warm. Everything is heartfelt, and as far as their coaching staff, like all the coaches there, they came back to the school, which really shows something about a program. If all the coaches really come back, and
Mm-hmm.
like their coaching staff has been there for 10+ years, and they're all been together.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And then how about let's go further south into Florida. What is it about the Gators that has you so interested in them?
The Gators, I feel like you can run track and play football at a very high level, which is really important to me because I want to run track and play football.
Hmm. They took a guy a couple of years back, actually was a football player, but also a better track athlete in Grant Holloway. Do you know about him, his story down there?
I do, yeah. He's a legend there now.
Yeah, he was about to go to the Olympics, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and then you mentioned LSU. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can say about LSU that hasn't we didn't see this past season on the field. But what really stuck out to you about their offense?
Just how often the receivers got the ball, and I think a fewer like two of the receivers had over 100+ catches, and they just are not afraid to throw the ball, and that's really important to a receiver,
Hmm.
especially a speed receiver.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you also mentioned Tennessee. I think you did too, right?
Yes, sir.
What is it about the Vols that has you so interested in them? I mean, they're recruiting really well right now. I don't know if you still saw the run they went on this week.
Just how often they communicate to me. I'm probably on the phone with the head coach, out of any head coach the most, and I feel like that's really important. Even though I'm not gonna speak to them on a daily basis, it's mostly gonna be my position coach, but still, that's very important to establish that relationship as well.
Hmm. Okay. Now, I think we kind of hit on all the schools that you mentioned earlier. Is there any other ones that you really want to talk about now?
Uh,
So
No,
you can't remember them. If you can't remember them, they're not the big contenders for you then, I guess. Did you get a chance to go on any visits earlier this year before the recruiting dead period and the pandemic hit?
Yes, I've been on visits that were closer to this area. So that's UVA, VTech, Michigan, Pitt. Um, yeah, those were pretty much the schools that I went to.
Okay, cool. You've got a couple of connections to the schools in Virginia there. Let's talk about those two for a minute. What do you see out of the Virginia Tech program right now?
They've really stuck with me since my ninth grade year. They were the first team to offer me, and that's real big because they've been there through everything. Our relationship is years, has been planned on years, so that's really important.
You got a good connection there. Your head coach is a former player at Virginia Tech, Bernard Joseph. How many times have you been down to the campus over there, you think?
I can't even remember. It's been a lot though.
Yeah. Okay. How about Virginia? What did you see out of that program when you're on campus, and when you're talking with those coaches? What's the message to you right now?
Uh, our communication really stopped, to be honest, because I didn't feel like that was a school for me.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anything that really stuck with you from Michigan or Pittsburgh when you visited those two schools?
Michigan was Coach Gaddis. He's a great guy, and I really appreciate him. And what was the other school that you
You
mentioned?
said Pitt. You visited Pitt earlier this year, right?
Yeah, Pitt. What I thought was special about Pitt was just how they progress the player outside of the field as well as on the field. There's a real big emphasis on after football, and I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. And then let's talk a little bit more about the influence that track is going to play in your recruitment. Some of these teams, they've got really good track programs. Some other ones, not so much. Are you kind of weeding out some schools based on their track programs?
I'm actually doing that currently right now, and I'm still trying to figure everything all out.
Mm-hmm. So if you had, 3 or 4 teams out there that you knew had excellent track programs that you're definitely going to consider, which ones would you say fits that description?
I honestly cannot tell you. I have no idea yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, still doing that research then. When this recruiting dead period finishes up, have you thought about which schools you want to take a visit to?
I definitely want to visit some of the southern schools. So that been South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, some of those schools.
Yeah. Okay. Anything in particular you really want to learn while you're out there?
Just the Southern culture and how it is, because I haven't really visited much of the Southern schools, and I feel like that's very important.
Okay, cool. Have you thought about a timeline for your decision at all? Are you going to try and shorten down this list anymore before you take official visits or anything like that?
My plan is to definitely shorten it down. And the decision was really supposed to be before my season, but that kind of got delayed because my visits I didn't get to take any visits. So I feel like it's definitely probably going to be pushed back. But then again, I have no idea.
hmm Now we're seeing a little more in this 2021 recruiting classes than we have in the past, or maybe it's just more obvious with this 21 recruiting class that the players are a lot closer and they're doing a lot better job recruiting each other than some teams or some recruiting classes in the past. Are there any players out there that you're in touch with a lot that you are really excited about possibly playing with in college?
I wouldn't say a lot, but I would say a few players have reached out to me. Um, yeah.
Any ones that you can name right here?
Nah.
No, okay. You can keep that to yourself until we see which school you both commit to, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. Well, sounds good, man. Malcolm, I appreciate your time here. Good luck with the rest of the recruiting process. I'm sure we'll be talking plenty between now and then. Thanks very much.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.